y'all. Listen, happy Friday. I know it's late. I know y'all probably was like, Deep ain't coming on. But yeah, it's late. I'm half, preparing my home because I'm having an event in my home tomorrow. So I got carried away. I was like, oh, look at the time. Look at the time. I didn't go live yet. So then I said, let me get down and go ahead and do a quick express train. Some of y'all here, some of y'all ain't. Whoever here, thank you for being here. But we still going to get it pushing, okay? We're going to do our little express train real quick. And then I'm going to go finish, preparing my home for tomorrow. And maybe I could show y'all some pictures of my event. So every year I have a vision board party in my house. It's just a fun thing to do. We make a little board, with our dreams and our visions for the coming year. And so far, I know it's only day 3, but I've been sticking to my dreams, y'all. I've been sticking to my dreams. So I'm here with y'all tonight. Thanks for being here with me. If you're in the building, do Diva a favor, hit that like button. So we got stuff to talk about. And the title is called A Crying Shame. A Crying Shame. So I didn't know that, with this Jeffrey Maddrey, it's the NYPD. And he's from New York. He was the chief. He had the highest, a very high level job, was making good money, $200,000, and he let that thing between his legs ruin his life. He had a wife. Go sleep with your wife. But no, he was sleeping with all of these people in the department. He was apparently, he did almost like a low-level Diddy type situation. But instead of paying people with his own money, he was paying people via overtime, the taxpayers' dollars. So when you retire from the police force, you get this, what they call a good guy letter, right? And this good guy letter, it allows you to still, even though you're retired, to carry your weapon. And so when you're able to do that, you can get these good gigs post-retirement. Like you can go and do security places. And a lot of people will hire you and pay top dollar. 1, because you're a retired cop, so they know you know what you're doing. And 2, because legally you have the right to carry. Well, they don't want him to have that privilege. Because they said at the end of the day, he was not a good guy. He was messy. He was not a good cop. So they don't want him to have that privilege. We're going to talk about it. Should it be revoked? Should it not be revoked? Well, the people don't want him to have that privilege. So we're going to talk about it. Then we're going to talk about a tragic loss. So this 3-year-old, the family let their 3-year-old daughter go with family members. These family members had these huge dogs. They was about 100 pounds. Somebody was asleep. When they woke up, the little girl was gone. Blood everywhere. And she was unalive. The scene was so bad that the cops were told to turn off their body cameras. Told them to turn it off. The scene was so bad that they didn't even want the mother to see her own child that was no longer alive. They don't want her to see the body. They probably don't want her to remember or see her own child like that. Little girl gone. Listen, and this is no judgment to the mother. We always have to do a little bit of education. So the education is that, even when it's a family member, you got to watch where and who you leave your kids with. I'm not a big, huge fan of dogs. And one thing for sure, I'm definitely not a huge fan of big dogs. I really don't like them. My mother dog is big. He nice. But at the end of the day, they all got a mouth. They all got teeth. And who knows when they get emotional what they're going to do. They get the biting. So now this wasn't one dog. It was 2 dogs. How sad is it that your little daughter, who you love and you thought was in good hands, is now gone? And the dogs mauled her to death. It's a shame. It's very sad. So we're going to talk about it. Then we got to talk about the Nicki Minaj drama. I don't know what it is with these celebrities in general, where they feel they can treat people any old kind of way. Now, this thing is alleged right now. This is what the ex-employee is saying happened. We don't know what happened because we wasn't there, but it's just too many stories of celebrities feeling like they could talk to people any old kind of way, treat them any kind of way, and get away with it. Who does this? Where does this come from? He's saying Nicki slapped him so hard his head went back, his hat flew off, and he was scared. I don't know how and why this keeps happening, but if one thing people need to learn, these celebrities, is look at the Diddy situation. Although it seemed like he got away with this thing for about 3 decades, now in his 50s, his day has come. They said every dog will have his day. Listen, I wholly believe in you're going to reap what you sow. You want to be nasty? It's going to come back to you. If you plant goodness, goodness will come back. You plant nastiness, nastiness will come back. You want to be slick, evil, mean to people, eventually it's going to come back to you. And the thing about karma is you don't know when it's going to come and slap you in the face. But she coming. And they say karma is a bitch in high heels. But karma is going to come your way. So I don't know what Nicki did or didn't do, but this is not a far-fetched Nicki Minaj story. We heard craziness about her before. You know what my message is? Everybody, whether you male or female, keep your hands to yourself. Keep your hands to yourself. And I don't know, like work, how do people get so angry that you get into putting your hands on somebody? It's a mess. But listen, people, I'm doing an express train tonight. Y'all know what I need in that chat? I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Friday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. This is the first Friday in the new year. It's January 3rd. Are y'all ready? Because I'm ready. And tonight's title is called A Crying Shame. This Jeffrey Maddrey. Oh, my God. Imagine you got a wife, and I want to say 3 daughters he got. A wife and 3 daughters. You've been on the job for 35 years, and now you've gone down in a hall of shame. And then talk about, the worst case scenarios is getting none of your benefits, and you will have none of the privileges that the cops get when they retire. All of that because you couldn't keep your thing in your pants. You big dummy. Then we got the tragic loss of the 3-year-old and the Nicki Minaj drama. Let me bring the people in the building. Hey, Sebastian. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Diva.
Hey.
Hey, Diva. Hey, Sebastian. Hey, chat.
Hey, y'all.
Happy Friday, y'all.
Happy Friday, y'all. Let's go ahead and start with this Nicki Minaj story. Let me go ahead and share screen. Where we at? Nicki Minaj. All I can say is unbelievable. Oh, it's her former manager, Nicki Minaj, did I spell Nicki's name wrong? I might have in this thing. Oh, no, I didn't. Nicki Minaj, former manager, sues. You smacked me in the face. Now she smacked somebody. So Nicki Minaj exploded on her day-to-day manager and hit him in the face so hard, she knocked his head back and sent his hat flying. At least according to a new lawsuit. So we thought 2024 was the year of lawsuits. It seems like 2025, we're going to get much of the same. The people not playing no more. I guess they speaking up and they're being heard. And it seems like more of them are trying to do it in real time. The Starships rapper is being sued by a man named Brandon Garrett, who claims he was working as Nicki's manager during her tour earlier this year when she got physical with him. In the lawsuit filed by high-powered trial attorney Thomas Fear and obtained by TMZ, Garnett claims Nicki sent him on an errand after her 2024 concert in Detroit, her April 2024 concert in Detroit. And when he got back, he was summoned to her dressing room. Garrett claims Nicki was inside with other members of her team, and she started grilling folks about their job responsibilities. He says she flew into a rage when she learned Garrett had once sent someone else to pick up one of her prescriptions. In the suit, Garrett claims Nicki screamed at him, "Are you effing crazy having him pick up my prescription? You have lost your effing mind. And if my husband were here, he would knock your effing teeth. You're a dead man walking. You just effed up your whole life and you will never be anyone. I'll make sure of it." Garnett claims Nicki kept screaming at him and told him his life was over before striking him on the right side of his face with an open hand. He says the force of the blow caused his head to swing backward and his hat flew off his head. Nicki's security team then allegedly swarmed in close to Garnett, and he claims Nicki struck him on his right wrist, knocking documents in his hand onto the floor. Garnett claims Nicki then told him to get the F out, and he says he grabbed his hat and quickly exited the room, locking himself inside a restroom at Little Caesars Arena. He says his wrist was throbbing and his face was sore as he called his fiancée to let her know what happened, claiming he stayed locked in the restroom for hours out of fear for his safety. Oh my God, that is so sad. Garnett claims Nicki team didn't let him on the tour bus back to the tour base in Chicago, leaving him stranded in Detroit. He's suing Nicki for assault, battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress, and he's going after her for damages. We reach out to Nicki's camp. So far, no word back. Oh my God. I don't get it. Sebastian, your thoughts?
Based off of this article and everything that we've heard about Nicki Minaj, I do not believe it's far-fetched either. I do believe she probably did put her hands on this dear employee. It's very, very disrespectful for your boss to put their hands on you, let alone shout at you and stuff like that. Those are disrespectful. Putting your hands on an actual employee, you negate their existence as a human being, and you probably look at them as a slave because you do not put your hands on employees because employees have rights. Employees have rights. This is completely atrocious. I'm not surprised by this, but what could I expect from somebody like her? What could I expect? Thinks that she's better than everyone. Her fans think that she's better than everyone. I'm not shocked about this. I am not shocked. No. He needs to make sure he has a good lawyer and he needs to have good security too, because these are little threats. What she said about her husband could knock those are threats because we know what your husband has done. Don't worry. Wendy Williams told us everything what your husband has done. That's it.
Thank you. Wayne, your thoughts?
I saw Nicki. I don't follow her, but I saw her on something one night. Someone, I don't know if it was a podcast or whatever, and she was talking to Ray J. And the way she was talking to him, like he was a lap dog.
Oh, I saw that.
Did you see that?
I did see that. It was hard. Yeah.
I don't put it past her. I don't put it past her. I believe she did it. And this was probably the last straw for this person. And they do need to take, because that's abuse. Who needs to go to work and get abused like that? And I hope the guy does, take it, to the full extent of the law and get compensated.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Tay, your thoughts?
Well, good afternoon, everybody. and tell her that Nicki Minaj, you should keep your hands to yourself and option to yourself. Did your parents ever teach you do not put your hands on people like that? No, I don't think so. Ever since you married to that man, you just became nasty, more nasty, a human being, because you don't respect nobody but yourself. And I never been a fan of Nicki Minaj ever. Ever since she disrespect to Mariah Carey long time ago, when they was on American Idol, and they did that song together too. I didn't like her at all. I think she was fake and phony. To me, yeah, I've never been a fan of her at all. And what she did to Rini too, I'm sorry, I ain't like her at all. That's all, Diva.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Katrina. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't put it past her. She did it. She need to leave those ski slopes alone because something is eating up her brain. What's going on? The man got your prescription back to you, whether he got it or not. Was it something that you didn't want people to see, or something that you got going on that you don't want people to know? And then for you to put your hands on somebody, now if that man would have knocked you back out, it'll be a whole nother scenario. He shouldn't be hitting a woman, well, she shouldn't be hitting him. And the thing of it is, I would sue her too, because Nikki always been out of place. She always thought that she was the main woman in all types of raps. Girl, you had to go. You had a guideline to follow. You wasn't the first rap artist that was out there, but you think that you are. You think you the main one. You getting older. Let it go. The man need to sue you, get his money, and yes, we know what your husband did, and your husband still didn't have a lawsuit against somebody else for hitting a security guard. So we know what y'all all about. So yes, sue her, get your money, and for him to be scared like that. So I guess her team was planning on jumping him or something. So he had to lock himself into the bathroom. So yeah, he should get some emotional distress, physical distress, and psychology distress. He need to get everything from her that he can. That's all I got, Diva.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. I'm going to stay connected to this story. And with these stories, have to understand when you employ somebody, this is not your friend that you're getting in an altercation with. This is your employee. And employees have rights. I mean, even friends have right, and people have right to like you don't put your hands on them. But employee, once that person is considered an employee, you get yourself in a whole slew of other trouble. These celebrities, they doing too much. Yeah, her husband is treacherous. From allegedly, we'll put a allegedly before that. Yeah, he's treacherous. And she, at first everybody was wondering, like, why did she get with him? Well, birds of a feather flock together. She's just about as thug as him, allegedly. Listen, we're going to go ahead and roll into the next story. But you know what? Shout out to this person for in real time having the courage, because it takes a lot of courage. This is not easy, for having the courage to stand up and do this lawsuit. It's not easy.
Agreed. Especially when you have fans who are willing to start doxing you, who have fans who will put your name, who put all your details out there so people can harass you and stuff like that. Especially when you have these huge fans. I am praying for this victim because this is no.
And then they left him in Detroit or wherever he was, and he had to find his way back home.
Oh, hell no.
That's sad. But personally, I wouldn't have wanted to get back on that tour bus though anyway. Why would you? I mean, it was not right, but I wouldn't have wanted to get on that tour bus. If you had to go hide in the bathroom, why would you want to later on get on that tour bus with them? Because if she did all of that to you in the room or wherever she was, what do you think she might have did to you on that tour bus? Yeah, I would have found my way home. I'm sorry. That's it, and that's all. So let's go into this next story, which is very sad. A 3-year-old girl got unalived by dogs. So let's go ahead and listen. Hold on one second. Let me share screen. So sad.
Not the news. Her daughter was killed by the dogs.
Oh no, not Toilet. Baby!
I'm not going to get this her dance or sing anymore.
Kingsley Wright was just 3 years old. Now, instead of unwrapping gifts together, Gina Smith is burying her baby girl.
I just want to know why and how.
Cincinnati police confirmed they're investigating the little girl's death. When first responders arrived in Roselawn Friday, a heartbreaking scene. Kingsley was killed by 2 dogs. Officers are advised to turn off their body-worn cameras.
I think we're going to need animal care to respond here to secure 2 dogs.
Smith says her child was spending time with family for the holidays, but she had no idea these dogs were dangerous.
I would have not allowed my baby around vicious dogs. Why would I do that?
What happened still isn't clear to Smith, and they want the full picture.
Those kind of dogs are over 100 pounds. So, did they just sit on her and kill her and then start mauling on her? Or
Did they crush her?
And why? Like, what made them want to do that to just a little baby sleeping on the couch?
The coroner couldn't let Smith see her daughter, saying Kingsley's injuries were too graphic. She worries she may never see her girl's body and already had her final goodbye.
It's the last time I got to say goodbye to my baby. I told her I love her.
So incredibly sad. So incredibly sad. Let me just share a little bit more to this story. Hold on one second. Yeah, Chanel, super sad. Let me see this. Oh, that's not the one I want to do yet. 1 second. Okay, here it is. So, 3-year-old girl is mauled to death by vicious dogs at Ohio home. I just woke up and my daughter is dead. A 3-year-old girl was found by her father mauled to death by 100-pound dogs in their Cincinnati, Ohio home 2 days after Christmas, authorities said. Kingsley Wright died from a dog attack on December 27, according to the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, while her father slept on the couch. I just woke up. Hold on 1 second. I just woke up and my daughter is dead. There's blood everywhere. I don't know what happened, the frantic father said in a call to 911, dispatches Fox 19 reported. I don't understand what went on. The father said that his dogs was locked up in cages while he napped. They're in the cage. That's why I'm like, did any of my pets attack her or something? The father told authorities in a call, according to the outlet. Gina Smith, Kingsley's mother, expressed outrage and disbelief that her daughter was left around giant dogs when she was left in her father's care. So this man right here is the stepdad. That's her mother. And the little girl was with her father's and I guess the family. I would not have left my baby around vicious dogs. Why would I do that? She told the news outlet. Those kind of dogs are over 100 pounds. So did they just sit on her and then start mauling on her? Did they crush her? And why? Josh Justice, Smith's boyfriend, told the outlet. The breeds of dogs in question are not known. Those animals were taken into custody at the scene by animal control and are being held in state-mandated 10-day quarantine in Cincinnati animal care. Smith wants answers as to how her daughter could have been mauled to death if the dogs truly were locked in cages. Cincinnati police are investigating Kingsley's death, according to the reports. She was such a doll face. An obituary for the little girl says Kingsley loved to sing and dance, and always saw a positive and bright side of everything around her. So, unfortunately, you can't hold your children from their other parent if you and that parent is no longer together. The little girl was at her father's house. The father had these 2 big dogs. He claimed they was in the cages. he woke up and he claimed that was it. He didn't hear these dogs attacking his daughter. Sebastian, your thoughts?
There's a lot of holes in this story. This is not making sense to me. So how the oh my god. Okay. How do you leave your daughter to go to sleep with dogs in 2 cages? Why don't you take your daughter as well and have her come into your room, lock the door? Because this is only a 3-year-old. I don't think she's tall enough to open a door. Tall enough to reach the door. So why doesn't that happen? Why are you letting your daughter, who's 3, to be around big dogs who weigh 100 pounds? And obviously kids are curious, she probably, if the cages were closed, she probably did try to open them and then eventually did. But even then, this is a result of child neglect, in my opinion. I do believe that the father did not really even care about the daughter, or there were probably some substances involved too. Maybe. But this is a completely tragic story. And based on what you were saying, how like the police were not even showing footage or anything, like it must be really that bad. It must be really that bad. Because even if they're not letting the mother see it, it's bad. It must be very bad. Because this is unacceptable. Diva, I know you're not a fan of dogs. I'm not a fan of dogs with little children, like big dogs with little children. No, it's a very dangerous thing, because some dogs would look at that little child as probably like a little threat or something. But even then, it's still unsafe. And I don't know why did the father even think it would be a good idea? You have a daughter. Why do you need these 2 big, huge dogs who are 100 pounds? Why? It's completely no, this is unacceptable. I do believe the father does need to go to jail too. I do think they need to take him in for child neglect and child endangerment. Um, I understand the mother's agony and pain, because she has every right to feel the way she's feeling. Because I do believe she would not leave her daughter with vicious dogs. She probably thought the dogs were locked in a cage and etc. And it's daddy, so she trusts her father's her baby daddy. She trusts those type of things. It's just, this is the most saddening thing, and
It's very sad.
it's so sad. No,
Yeah.
I'm done.
I mean, says some people see sound, they hear nothing else, especially if you're on medications. Yeah, I don't know. With my son, I would hear him call for his sleep. Now, remember, my house is small, so like in between my room and my son's room is our bathroom. But listen, and sometimes I would just wake up and go in there and wait to make sure I see his chest go up and down and that he was breathing. I don't get this. And you got these 2 big dogs, and the dogs don't. So your daughter didn't live with you, so the dogs are not familiar with her like that. This is messy. And what I don't believe is, I don't believe those dogs was in a cage. Wayne, your thoughts? Your daddy charged and arrested. Yep. And brought to trial. Come on, Best IBK. Go ahead, Wayne. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, somebody was careless. It just doesn't make sense, that 2 dogs of that size, and I'm sure the child had to be screaming. I'm sure the dogs had to be making noise.
Yeah.
How come nobody don't hear nothing? I mean, nobody hears nothing. I mean, it's definitely a case. Somebody was careless, and like Sebastian said, this is child abuse.
Yes, it is.
This is child abuse. If you had dogs that size and you had a child in the house, you should have a lock on the cage. Not just a cage, but a lock on the cage. Because it just sounds, they want to say that maybe the child woke up and opened a cage or whatever. But I don't think so. I don't think so. I think them dogs is out, probably loving on them when the people were around. And then at night, it's a different story.
Yeah, it's sad. E, your thoughts?
Hey.
Hey.
So, Hey. Okay, now let me tell you something. I don't like dogs. Okay, I've told you all that before. Anytime I am in Target or Whole Foods and I see one of these dingbats walking around with these gigantic beasts, I'm like, what are you doing in here with these things? It's food in here. And I have an 8-year-old, and she is not as fearful of dogs as I am, but I still don't like it. And I know people need their emotional animals, but if you're that emotionally unstable, do Instacart. It's ridiculous. As it relates to this situation, I have said it over and over again. Ladies, we must put parameters in place when our kids go to visit their fathers, period. Get a lawyer, put it in the visitation order. You do get a say so before the order is finalized. You have to ask. You have to get a lawyer who is going to fight for what you want. We have to stop all this foolishness. And that's what drives me insane when I hear women say, "Oh, well, it's his kid too." No, it's not his kid. It's your child, and he is the father, but it's your child. It's a difference, especially we're talking about a 3-year-old here. We have to stop being so quick to agree to this 50-50 custody and all of these demands just so the child can have their father in their life. No, because it can cost you. I remember, Diva, you did a story about similar to this years ago where the if I'm not mistaken, I could have sworn that it was a married couple. They lived together. And if I'm not mistaken, something happened with the child. Maybe the child was left in the house or in the car or something, and the daddy went to sleep and the kid passed away. Something like that. Something very, very traumatic.
No, I remember now. The dad left the girl in the car because she was asleep. There was 2 other kids, and he was in the house playing the game, and it was in the summer, and she died.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's just certain things as a mom that it comes second nature. And I know it's some moms out there who are no good and trifling. I get that. But the average mom, before we lay down and go to sleep with the 3-year-old, that is going through our minds. Okay, now wait a minute. Where is this bed? So like who was it? I think it was Sebastian. Bring the baby in the room. I remember when my baby was younger. Of course, she would be in the bed with me, so that I would just wake up in the middle of the night if I even felt something funny, like I didn't want to roll over on her. If she moved, I didn't want her to roll out of the bed. I had attachment syndrome, but we have to be thoughtful of where we are dropping our child off to, because I've been hearing more and more stories recently where even with the was Drea Kelly talking about how she knew that Robert was touching that child, but she had to keep on bringing her over because the police said, you can't be on the property and this is. We have to stop with this foolishness, and we have to fight for custody, and we got to make it hard for the men to see him sometimes. Move out the state if you have to. A mother is without her child, and nothing is going to bring that beautiful little girl back. That's a beautiful little girl. This is unforgivable. And people prior to me said you got to put the dog in the cage and all of this. No, put the animals outside. Put them in the garage, put them in a room and lock the door, because your child, this is their home. They should not have to walk on eggshells. And the 3-year-old doesn't even know they're going over to pet this dog, that, hey, this is something that could kill. This is something that could kill me. This is something that could hurt me. It's your job as the parent to know. It's just unforgivable. I don't have any words.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very unfair. It's very sad, but the dad is not telling the truth. Either he was drunk, high, or both, but something is amiss. He's not telling the truth. There's no way this little girl wasn't screaming to the point where the police they was advised to turn off their body cameras.
The man was drunk or he was on drugs.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Come on. Stop it. But I will say this too, that unfortunately, when you going through court battles with people, it's very sad to say, I'm saying with people, but maybe the other parent to your child, you have to bring so much stuff before they say, okay, no, we'll intervene, and it has to be a guardian, another person there, and all of that. It's very sad. Tay, your thoughts?
this beautiful baby is gone because the two dolls is way out than her. They're big. And the mother cannot see her child because I guess the Corey don't want her to see her child, what happened to her child that day before Christmas. That's probably why he say it's probably a little bad. Because if I see my child like that, I'll probably have nightmares, Diva. This is the beautiful 3-year-old baby right here. Dad, you were responsible for those two dogs right there. You should have locked them in the cage or put them outside outside. Because dogs belong outside. There ain't no dogs coming in the inside in the house. Children are meant to be loved, protecting. But no. It's like you just don't care about this 3-year-old baby right here. You just only care about yourself. That's just being selfish right there. Not be a responsible person. Not to be a loving father, protecting from the dog. Parents always protect their kids first. You put your kids first. And now she is gone. I said put those two dogs down. I'm sorry, I love dogs, but when you have those dogs attack people, oh no. They're going down. Put the dog down. That's all, Diva.
I agree with you. Come on, Tay. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, I wish I knew what type of dogs those were. Because my son, he breeds blue-blooded pits. But what gets me, I'm thinking like if those was pits, the first thing they're going for is the neck. And if they mauled her neck, she probably couldn't holler or scream. But then again, you didn't know that the baby father had dogs because the dogs couldn't have known her in order to bite her. To do her that way. So the dogs wasn't familiar with her because most of the time, when a dog familiar with a child, he'll protect that child. So that dog was not familiar with this baby, and that's a sad situation. And you in there sleep. What type of lock did you have on this door that their daughter can go in there and unlock it and let the dogs out? Unless it's one of them little cage that you just flip the little thing over and lock it that way. Regardless of the fact of how you had it in there, regardless of the fact the child is gone. So basically you wasn't even watching your child because you was in there napping. So it's okay for her to be up by herself. Because nobody could have been watching her, because if they was watching her, she would never have been in that position where she was in. And yes, I think he does need to go to jail for child neglect. Because why were you watching this child? Knowing you got these dogs and that dogs could not be familiar with that child in order for him to do it that way. And another thing what people gets me is when they say, oh, come on, my dog ain't gonna bite. You're not in that dog mind. So you're not gonna tell me what that dog finna do. Because you do not know what that dog gonna do. You're not in his mind. He's not gonna bite you. How you know? I'm not finna take no chances. And the thing of it is, you let your child took a chance with these dogs that them dogs did not know this child, and that's a sad situation that this baby is gone because of because her father was being neglectful. And yes, I think he does need to go to jail because this don't make any sense for you to bring a child around these types of dogs. I wish we knew what type of dogs it was, regardless of what type they were. It's still sad that this baby is gone. That's all I got.
Thank you, Katrina. In my opinion,
So it's a sad case because I know people with big dogs, and the big dog cages usually have a childproof lock on it. It's the one where you have to lift up and pull out with the other hand. So I can't see a kid being able to do that, especially a 3-year-old. My second thing is you fall asleep on the couch You don't secure a 3-year-old in a crib or something where she can't get out and hurt herself. There are other issues besides this dog in the house. This baby could have harmed herself in any number of ways while you sleep on the couch. You're so asleep on the couch that you didn't hear the dogs growling, because when they're attacking, they usually bare their teeth and growl. Rrr. It's a real loud noise, and it's just two of dogs. It's amplified. Now, I know all this because I've had dogs all my life. I just don't see how he's saying all this happened right there at him and he was asleep and he didn't hear anything. Even under the influence, you would have heard something. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mind thinks you would have heard something to get up. I mean, they had to drag her too, because nobody's going to sit still and be just eating. We've seen stories of dogs attacking people. They move and they drag them until they stop moving. So all this was happening, and I can only imagine there was blood everywhere. The scene to me is gruesome enough, hearing the story. So I don't need body cam footage. I already know what a dog can do. Their teeth are sharp. It's just a neglect on so many levels, because we all know that big dogs are not house dogs. Occasionally, you don't keep them in the house, especially not on the floor where you living at. Most people that bring their big dogs in the house, they put them in basements, in a cage. They leave them real close to the back door. It's always somewhere where it's not like incorporated in the house. It just feels like this whole story has a lot of holes in it that we don't know the issue to. And I hope they tested this dad's drugs, gave him a test, because I don't think he was clean at the time. But needless to say, I think he woke up when this was happening and couldn't save her.
Oh my God.
And as a result, he sat there for a while trying to figure out what he was going to say. And this was the best story he came up with. Because you're not telling me you sat there, you heard them dogs growling and chewing at skin and blood and nothing. You didn't hear none of this. You didn't feel nothing. All this happened right there at you. Because if you opened your eyes and you saw it, that means y'all were real close together. It's a lot of holes in this story. I think he woke up and saw it. It was too late to do anything. He waited a while and came up with this story. Yes, he should be locked up. Those dogs should be put to sleep. There should be a big investigation into this.
You know what? I'm kind of rolling with you on this, in my opinion. I think he woke up in the midst of this attack. That, to me, there's just no way on the face of this earth that these dogs was attacking this girl, to the brutal scene where the officers was like told to turn off your body cams, to the point where they don't even want the mother to see her own child because it's so bad. They ripped that little girl to shreds. Beautiful little girl. It's a shame. And my heart breaks for this mother. Breaks for this mother. Because I'm sure, men a lot of times, and I'm not getting on the men, but I want to say this. Men a lot of times, they want to get on, their baby mother, their ex-wife or whatever, because they don't let the kids around them because they're reckless and foolish with their child's life. And some of these women, now some of the women are playing games, but some of them, they're really trying to save their child from the nonsense. It's very sad. Very, very sad. And I believe the mother that she didn't know about these two big dogs, because those dogs did not know that little girl. They did not know that little girl. And they attacked her to the point where now she is not here. And she suffered a brutal death. Go ahead, E. Seemed like you want to say something else.
Yes, Janet. I don't know if you saw her comment.
I did. Okay.
I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't want to say it because the first thing
I said this in the beginning. I said this up where I was like, have we ever considered that maybe the father didn't even want the daughter to be here?
that. Whoo! I will say this though. Either way, I feel like I don't know how this guy wasn't arrested. I will stay connected to this story. A few days ago, I did a story on that Trey the Truth. The father, he's a rapper that said, the mother took her daughter and was like trying to get out the country. The daughter was found. The mother is arrested. Just to give you a little update, and maybe I'll do a video on that later. The mother is arrested, and they was at the Mexican border. So I guess the mother, I guess the mother was trying to cross, and she got caught because remember he took it, to the cops.
Yeah, the FBI involved.
The FBI, thank you. In my opinion, the FBI got involved. But yeah, they found her.
Have you ever looked into the Tiffany Rubin story? There was a Lifetime movie about that story where like Tiffany Rubin was married to this man and then they had a kid, they were divorced, and then she gave the kid to him to like go to Disney World or something, and then he decided to go to Korea with the kid and did not want to give it back.
Wow.
There's a whole movie on YouTube with Lifetime. It's called the Tiffany Rubin story.
I'm gonna go check it out. But this
it's a good story too.
Okay, this whole situation is very sad, but you know what? Something is amiss. These dogs he didn't just wake up out of nowhere and see all this blood and his daughter gone. I'm not buying it. I don't know if you heard this story, Julius, and you want to comment or you want to just wait to the next story.
I'll wait till the next one.
Okay. So we're gonna roll into my next story, and my next story is this Jeffrey Maddrey thing is layered. And I didn't know because listen, I'm not one. I don't even want no. I don't think New Jersey's a open carry state. I don't even know. But listen, guys, I don't want no pow pow. I just don't. I don't want the responsibility of it. I don't want to hold it. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to see one. But as cops, when you retire, you get certain privileges. You get a lot of privileges. So this Jeffrey Maddrey, after 35 years on the job, he lost all his privileges. So he may not even be able to work as security. Well, I mean, he could, but he's not going to have his, he's not going to be able to carry because they're thinking about not allowing him to have some of these privileges that he would have normally had if his record was clean and this scandal wasn't before him. He's not going to get these privileges. So accused NYPD sex pest Jeffrey Maddrey shouldn't be allowed firearms in retirement, cutting off potential security gigs, advocate says. So they said he's not a good guy who should have a pow pow. Accused NYPD sex pest Jeffrey Maddrey shouldn't be granted a so-called good guy letter. Now, who would have known there's such a thing that will give him the police retirement perk of having pow pow access, a ticket to a potential gravy train and private security, advocates argue. The police reform advocates, including a former top NYPD chief, pressed Commissioner Jessica Tisch this week to withhold the letter while the soon-to-retire Maddrey is under federal scrutiny in a sordid sex for overtime scandal. Good guys letters must be issued to must only be issued to uniformed members of the service who have demonstrated full service of honor, nobility, and ethical leadership, said Michael Osgood, a retired NYPD deputy chief. Any officer who is engaged or more than likely engaged in corruption, SASH, criminal obstruction, or any other act that is contrary to honor and notability must not be issued a good guy letter, particularly if that officer is an executive ranking officer. NYPD cops who retire honorably are given a good guy letter that exempt them from state pow possession and carry restrictions. Retired cops can often parlay their good standing with the NYPD and pow access into well-paid work in private security and consulting. Maddrey temporarily lost his pow access after Tisch suspended him Thursday amid a federal raid on his Queens home by investigators looking into accusations he traded S favors with an underling for astronomical overtime. He had already resigned from his chief of department post and filed for retirement after the Post uncovered the explosive accusations by Lieutenant Quatisha Epps, which he denies. Epps was the NYPD top earner last year, ranking in $400,000, with overtime accounting for more than half her pay. But Maddrey's suspension can only last 30 days without pay, leaving withholding or refusing his good guy letter as the last option. Tish has to make sure he can't retire in good standing. The advocates argue doing so would hold Maddrey, who could dispute the decision, accountable for his alleged abuses and slip quietly into retirement, off the hook. By issuing such a letter to violators of the Code of Honor and Notability, one stains and injures thousands of police officers who serve faithfully with distinction, Osgood said. The reformers also pushed to yank firearm access from Maddrey's successor as chief of department, John Shell. Shell in 2008 pow-powed a Brooklyn man in the back, unaliving him. He contended the pow-powing was accidental and avoided discipline. Under Maddrey, it was a whole lot of nonsense and shenanigans going on. And he needs to pay the price. Sebastian, should he get this good guy letter and walk around the city of New York with a pow-pow?
Absolutely not should he get the letter. I don't agree that he should get the letter. But I will say this, though. He might still be able to get the pow-pow through his personal means, not from the NYPD, because he still has his Second Amendment rights. I do believe that if there are charges and stuff like that, I think those rights may be taken away from him, because you can't own a pow-pow with certain charges against you. But this is one of the most disappointing things that the city of New York has to go through, to have this huge scandal. Number one, we have a mayor who's going through a scandal. The chief of police, who won't be chief of police in the next couple of days, is going through a scandal. What type of example does the city of New York set out, as it is one of the biggest cities in the country? What type of example does this set to all the other cities across the United States? What a shame.
A disgrace. Katrina, your thoughts? Should he get this good guy letter?
Why, when he's not a good guy?
Oh, shoot.
Why would I give him a good guy letter? No, he don't get no good guy letter. And the thing of it is, like Sebastian said, yes, he might be able to get his own on his Second Amendment thing, but I wouldn't give him no good guy letter. You're not a good guy. So why should you benefit from what you cause havoc on? No, ma'am. So if he wants to go the route of getting, because they always can, somebody always can give him one that's not even legal. And I don't think he deserve it. I really don't. He's an embarrassment. You won't even get your gold watch. So you just lost out, and all for you don't want to keep your Vienna inside your pants. Be for real. Now you stuck, and you got nothing. Out of all this S you was around here doing, what good came from it? Nothing. And now you looking like a fool, and that's what he gets. And that's all I got. And no, he do not get a good guy letter. No, ma'am. That's it.
Appreciate you. In my opinion, your thoughts?
My thoughts is scum like this don't deserve nothing. Okay. I want them to cut off all points of access for him. I really do. Because he was one of the top levels. And for him to do all this, yeah, he don't need no way to survive after this. I need them to crack down on stuff that really matters. They cracking down on stuff that don't matter. I need them to crack down on stuff that does matter. Okay, this matters. Him having the ability to go out there and possess a firearm is ridiculous to me. Like, he wasn't a good guy on his job. He wasn't a good guy in real life because he had a whole family that he left in chaos. Yeah, there's no such thing as a good guy letter to none of these people.
I appreciate you, in my opinion. E, your thoughts? Are we giving this good guy letter?
Oh, Diva, don't be ridiculous. You know, I don't know what the debate is. I mean, if you violate the code of ethics, if you compromise the integrity of your office, you misuse taxpayer funds, you essay women, you strangle them, you pass out houses in Virginia or whatever he has allegedly, you don't get no damn letter. That's more than fair. You don't get no pension. You don't get no health care benefits. You don't get to carry. He should be in prison and making bead bracelets. What are we talking about? Yes, we know about the women at work who he exchanged favors for OT, estimated at more than $500,000, probably more if we go back more. I mean, we talked about $500,000 yesterday. Absolutely, positively, no. These were just the two women we knew about. What about the women we did not know about? How many women on probation or women who were going through a rough time, who were stuck between a rock and a hard place, has he made inappropriate contact with? Because I'll tell you, I was driving one day on the road in an unmarked vehicle. I made a unusual turn. And some blue lights came on. The man got out the car. He said, well, why did you do that? And then he started talking with the man across the way who was a stranger. And he wasn't a police officer or anything, just a man in a Charger. And he was like, look at her. Look at how she was driving. And he said, let me have your license. I think I told you this story, Diva, before.
You did.
And he was like, I'm just thinking about whether or not I want to write you a ticket. How you going to write me a ticket? You're not on duty. You're not in the marked car. Luckily, on my license, it has a P.O. box number. So you ain't coming to my house or getting any prevalent information. But men who have access to PCI, personal and confidential information, you're held to a higher standard, and we know that he cannot be trusted. If he would do this to women who he works with, imagine what he is doing to women who he's not working with, and he has all of that information because he's at the top of the police chain, the NYPD. He shouldn't work in public service. At best, he should work at Raising Cane's Chicken, put him on the deep fryer, and because we know he steals, make sure we count all the bags of chicken before and after each of his shifts.
Not before and after. Thank you, E. Tay, your thoughts. Is he getting this good guy letter, Tay?
No, well, no, ma'am, no whammy. He ain't getting nothing. Because what you did to those women right there. And I feel bad for your wife and your family.
Yeah.
The whole family. And they see this right here. Because you should have kept in your pants. You swore you been in this police very about what? 3 decades? You swore you were protecting us from the bad guys. And this is, for example, for the kids who want to be a police, that they had to look up to you. For the next generation. And another one. Because they all look up to you. Like you are their heroes. Their protector. Their mentor. And you just do it to a woman. Why? Because you got a problem with a woman? Do you, buddy? If I was that wife, Diva, you know what I'd do? I would slap the taste of his mouth.
Oh, my gosh.
And kick it to the graves, too. I wish you would do something to me like that, just like you did to those women. I'll kick you out the house. I'll divorce your butt. I'll take the custody of all our children so you won't see them. And you probably, I won't let you do it. And I'm going to clean you out of the count too. And take the car. So you won't have nothing. You read what you sold. And you sold you to your soul to the bad guy right there. That's all, Diva.
Well, there it is. Boom. Thank you, Tay. Julius, your thoughts?
Now, I just need my barrel legal commentator to answer this question for me because now I'm about to be messy and get into business. Can the wife get the good guy letter in the pension? I just need to know. I'm asking for myself. Thanks.
Thank you, Julius. Felicia, your thoughts? I don't know if you heard, but are you going to give him this good guy letter so he can carry?
No. I'm not giving him a good guy letter at all. And good evening, everybody. I just came up here because, I do disagree with E on and off, but on this one, I strongly disagree. He shouldn't be in there frying no chicken because he'll be backdooring the food, child. The man is a walking STD. You can't trust him with nothing. You don't want him cooking your food. You don't want him cleaning your food. You don't want him preparing your food. Okay? So no to the letter. Can't have him around no food. And I don't know if you guys know, but he went to law school at night too. When he was doing all that, dropping it and backdooring it and driving around and assaulting people on their jobs, he was allegedly going to law school, passed the bar, passed character and fitness. Okay, so everything is on the line for him, as it should be. But heck no, can't have him around no food, no kids. He don't need a weapon because remember, he beat up one of the women in the park. And they were in uniform, and he was using his pow illegally. So no, we don't want him to have nothing.
Ooh, child. Okay, he gets nothing. Before I close out, because y'all know this is an express train, I do have to show this one last story because I don't know what it is with the people in this food situation, and it's getting extremely sad. People are being unalived over some food. It just doesn't make sense to me. So a woman accused of stabbing a postal worker over a spot in the New York City deli line has a history of knife violence. The woman accused of stabbing a postal worker to death over a spot in line at a Harlem deli has a history of knife violence and once threatened to cut one of her previous victims. I think it's Jaya Cruz, was arrested at least 5 times before she allegedly carried out the ruthless unaliving Thursday. Law enforcement sources told the Post, right? You know what's interesting to me, and I'm just relating it to this case because, it's something that's in the news and we all could relate to. Diddy said he gonna wear ankle bracing, have people watching him, this, that, and the other. This chick got a whole history of using a weapon and she was on the streets, but she's not the only one. The other day, I want to say that was something happened to someone in the New York subway. That person had a history of violence. This is crazy that she was even walking the street and she's tall. She's a tall girl. So in July 2020, Cruz was caught waving an open box cutter at another person in Midtown West and shouting, "I'm going to cut him," sources said. Cruz was ordered to get on the ground, but refused. That's the guy that unfortunately lost his life because of a line who was in line next at the deli. So Cruz was ordered to get on the ground but refused. She was then pulled away by officers and busted for resisting arrest. Just 2 weeks later, Cruz was arrested again for a 4:30 a.m. tag team robbery. She and another individual used knives to steal a man's phone and wallet after the victim invited the pair to hang out. The repeat offender, who has been described by cops as a transgender woman, now faces murder charges for the brutal knifing of Ray Hodges on the on-duty United States Postal Service letter carrier who was grabbing lunch at the deli at 168th and Lenox Avenue. So sad, so incredibly sad. Hodges, 36, skipped the line directly in front of Cruz, inciting the knife-wielding woman, sources said. She then allegedly gutted him in the stomach. He was rushed to Harlem Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries the cops said. I don't, this is sad. This person has a history, but still, it's like something about the food is driving people nuts. Sebastian, what are your thoughts? Are you there?
I've always said this. This little thing of violence that I'm trying to see with food and stuff is very dangerous. It's very, very dangerous because, number one, this is in the United States of America. There are many opportunities for food. Many. A lot of people don't know those opportunities, but there are many opportunities to get food. This is not in a poorly developed country. This is happening here, and the violence. We need an end to this violence because I don't know what the hell is happening. Violence is insane. It's insane. It's insane. And no one is to blame for it but ourselves as a society, that we continue to, become desensitized to these amounts of violence.
It's very sad.
It's sad. It's honestly sad. That's it. Have a good night. I'm falling asleep.
Thank you, Sebastian, for being here. Well, I'll see you next time. Give me 1 second, Tay.
Death of a U.S. postal worker in a deli. Police have identified the 24-year-old suspect who's charged with second-degree murder. An employee also tells us the two were regular customers who had no history of disputes in the past. Christy Collegian has the story from Harlem.
We're hearing from an employee who tells us exactly how this all unfolded. He says it started right here while the two were waiting in line, fighting over who was first in line. Then that argument spilled over here to where the coffee machine is and got physical. And here's some new video of 24-year-old Jaya Cruz, who police identify as who allegedly stabbed to death 36-year-old Ray Hodges, a U.S. postal worker. And this employee tells us that it seemed as though Hodges was here first, and then Cruz crossed in front of him, and it sparked a whole argument. Here, take a listen to what he said.
I separate them. The male guy in the front, the lady, she was in the back. She's spilling him in his face, and male guy, he get mad. She's spilling him. So he was lemon juice mixed with a coffee machine. He throw on her. So she take the knife. This is so bad. This is my first time I see this happen from my face.
And this all unfolded yesterday at around 2:30. We also heard from a teacher at a nearby school who says they had to go into lockdown, which is customary for any sort of dangerous situation out here. But of course, it was very scary for her and the nearby community, who was all just shocked over this violent incident that happened right here. And also hearing from the USPS that issued a statement saying that it is looking out for the safety and well-being of its employees, and that it is working diligently with the NYPD as they investigate the situation. In Harlem, Christy Collegian, CBS News, New York.
So sad. Tay, your thoughts?
Look at here. I'm not going to do that to a person. I say, I'll let you go first.
Come on.
That's how it was long time ago, way back in the early. And you see somebody who could, come first there right there, you should say, excuse me. But you don't say excuse me no more. Every day it's like, and people are like, whatever, I'm going to cut in front of you anyway. It's just, and she spitting out his face too. Ew. You don't know what's in her mouth, what she have in her, in the spit. Ugh. Mm-hmm. That's just plain nasty.
Mm-hmm.
It gross. And I just feel bad. His family had to deal with this right here. They lost a son, a husband, a brother, nephew. And because of what? You just want to cut in front of the line of somebody like that right there. Because you want to get first. I hope he get justice. And my God, she is big woman right there, Diva. She is tall.
She's tall.
She probably like what, 6 something?
She's tall.
Yes.
Very sad.
That's all, Diva.
Thank you. E, you're up.
I need to choose my words. And then I'm gonna hop down. It's late.
Yes, it
you
is.
know, this is only the 3rd day of the new year, and it has been so much violence every single day. First, it was in Louisiana, then it was Las Vegas. New York also had an incident on New Year's Day at a nightclub the other night. I mean, there was a plane crash in California. Every day, we're hearing about the loss of lives, and it's disheartening. And if this is an indication of how the rest of the year will go, we're in trouble. Tay Tay said that this person was saw. Yeah, this is a trans woman, and not that it should matter, but it does. It does, because the manager or the owner of this restaurant said that the man was there first.
Yes, he did.
So this person, I believe they said her name is Jaya, came in, skipped the line, and caused all this confusion, all of this mess. And then it seems like, I think the man's name is Ray. When Ray began to speak up, okay, then they exchanged words, and then Jaya escalated it further and pulled out what she pulled out. How dare you? It's senseless. It makes absolutely zero sense. And the bottom line is, you were wrong. You were wrong. You did the absolute wrong. I don't know what's wrong with people. And it's frightening to me. And this is why I said I have to choose my words carefully, because I respect Tay Tay. Tay Tay said that she would just let the person go in front. I'm like Ray. If I've been standing here, I'm at work on my lunch break. Oh no, I'm going to say something. And it's dangerous to speak up nowadays. And we really do have to choose our battles, because it can mean life or death, and whether or not we get to go home to see our families. I am certain that when Ray was standing in line and said, oh no, you're not going to jump me, I'm certain Ray did not think that he would not be able to go back to work and go back home to his family. Right. It's very, very sad. And my concern is with what we just talked about with Jeffrey Maddrey and what's going on with the NYPD. And then we have these incidents that are being perpetuated in the media about rising crime. What's going to be the return on this? For every action, there is a reaction. And this is not going to be the last that we hear about this. I am furious.
Yeah. Oh God. Thank you, E. I appreciate you. And have a good night. I know it's late. Felicia, your thoughts?
I think this is a perfect example of a person who has nothing to lose.
Okay.
So their fight, what matters to them is who's first and who's second on a line in a $2 deli on a dump street. Yeah. So you go in there, as E said, I agree. He's probably trying to grab his lunch real quick.
Yeah.
Pick his stuff up and keep going, because he's thinking ahead. He has a job to do. He probably has a family or whatever. And this other person has nothing going for them. All they got is today, whether or not they're going to get their food first or not. They have a history of violence, cutting people, slashing people, and they're on the street, like you said. And so as I think about, because I'm listening to this is things I think we all encounter every day, that choice you make in the moment. And I ain't E. I'm more like Tay Tay. You can go ahead.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking down the road. I don't know this person. So the story is told that they came in there every day. And there was some kind of acknowledgement that they know each other from this store. They come in here to do business.
Mm-hmm.
But the owner did nothing to save a life. And it looked like he stayed open. That's what it looked like to me. See, I wouldn't be going there anymore. I wouldn't be in your business. I don't want you serving me no food. I don't want to be in the company of you having these kind of customers. Now, this person that they picked up, maybe they'll spend a week in jail or maybe 10 days. I don't know. They could be on the street today. But that person is a very odd looking person. That's not somebody that kind of, slips into a crowd and they go unnoticed.
Mm-hmm.
This person's been a problem. That's what I'm trying to say. They've been a problem. This isn't the first encounter they've had in this store, but it's been tolerated.
Yeah.
And now a life is lost. I have no mercy. I ain't got no grace. But I think that the message here to us, those of us who still have to get out there and go to work and do have plans and do hope for a better future, to be mindful. Because there's too many people out here who got nothing. They don't have faith. They don't have a family. They don't have a future. And they don't mind taking yours.
Oh, my God.
I'm done.
You're telling the truth, though. Oh, my God. I appreciate that. I'm coming to you, in my opinion. But 1 second. Let me just show something else. Now, I will say this, right? When you have this Jeffrey Maddrey and all the nonsense that he did over there in the NYPD, there are, how do I want to say, a lot of cops, they see so much and they really are doing their job and they're not just trying to sex everybody down. Just imagine the cops that had to see that 3-year-old. And how do you get that out of your mind? Imagine the cops, you going here now and somebody's, stabbed, and just what they see every day. In my opinion, your thoughts, and I just got to run real quick. In my opinion, when you finish, Katrina, please go.
This is a sad case because it lets us know that the world has changed so much that we don't love enough, we don't care enough about our neighbors no more. This is a sad situation. It's really crazy to me that she's had so many run-ins with threatening people and assaulting people that she wasn't stopped before now. And the sad part about it is you keep on giving people chances and chances and chances. Eventually, those chances are going to turn into actions because you haven't gave them a boundary that they can't cross yet. You keep giving them a pass, so they ain't got a boundary. And now they're going to push it even further to see what they can get off with then. And the second degree murder sounds like a slap in the face to his family. It should be first degree. Because all this was initiated by her. It's sad, and I really don't like it.
Thank you, in my opinion. I appreciate you. Katrina, your thoughts?
Well, she got away with it all this time, but she won't be getting away with it this time because you have killed a federal employee, and that's doing a federal time. So, anytime you mess with those post officers or those people work for the post service, the mailman and all that,
Mhm.
there's a big fine. on that. And by her unaliving him, she's going to do federal time. So she's not going to get away with it. So many chances they gave him, he or whoever it is, it's over with now because you're going to do some feds. And based on what the people are saying, you can't even claim self-defense because you was the one that initiated it. So she's gone, or he's gone, or whoever it is, she's gone. That's all I got, Devo.
Thank you. Julius, your thoughts? I don't know. Did I come to you already?
No. I just want to say this off the jump. We in the LGBT don't claim this heifer. We don't claim this heifer. Who is this? Who is this abomination? Who is this errant abomination? Who has a history of doing violence? We don't claim this heifer. This heifer, who is this? This disgusting thing. You have a history of being violent, being a menace, being an errant, deranged, idiotic, foolish lunatic. Oh no. You getting locked up. You getting put in the big house. Or as Bam says in the Tyler Perry plays, the big house under the jail. It's where you belong with your errant, foolish, idiotic behind. Unaliving somebody for what? For, you know what? There's no reason for it. Because there's no reason to unalive somebody. In something you instigated. Well, guess what? The Lord finally found a way to put you away. Hallelujah.
Thank you, Julius. Listen, guys, I appreciate y'all for coming through for my late night express train. It's sort of kind of express train. But either way, I appreciate y'all. Thanks for spending Friday night with me. If y'all did not hit that like button on the way in, please hit the like button on the way out. I am going to stay connected to these stories. This Jeffrey Maddrey story, I don't think this is going to end well for him at all. The tragic loss of the 3-year-old, I really want to stay connected to that. I think that father is not telling the truth. Nicki Minaj, keep your hands to yourself. And this one, may he rest in peace. And and my condolences to his family for this last story. Thanks, guys. Good night and goodbye, everyone.
Do not see the Devo is right.